We always hear how Donald Trump talks about being a master negotiator, the art of the deal. Over the years, I've learned about negotiation, and I can tell you Donald Trump doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. It's just about bullying and hoping somebody gives up. That's not negotiation, that's just being a fucking bully. But I had my first shot of negotiations back when I was in the music business. Now, I told you that we were able to get a publishing contract for my artist, Jerry, and it entailed a lot of money, surprisingly. And it turns out we got that amount of money because this exec missed the boat on that previous producer with Paula Abdul. Had he paid the guy what he wanted, they would have made millions of dollars. He fucked up. So now when he comes to us, he feels like he's got to go the extra mile so he doesn't fuck up again. He wants to keep his job. And since Michael Jackson is his boss, because as I told you, this production company was owned by Michael Jackson, and people will say that's bullshit, that's not true. Well, I've got the contract with Michael Jackson's autograph on it, so anybody who wants to see that, I'd be happy to show them. Anyway, I'm a big dumb white guy that doesn't know anything about the music business. Once I get them to agree to a deal, I understand that I can't do this all on my own. I'm a white guy in black music who doesn't know what he's doing. So I decided I needed to get a bulldog of a lawyer. I knew some people around town, not the best people, but they gave me a name of a pretty serious lawyer on Madison Avenue in New York who deals in the entertainment business. His name is George. And so I called him up and told him the situation, and he says, yeah, I'll help you out. So I get this deal, and as I've told you before, it amounted to about $100,000 a year, give or take, for 3 years. And that was unprecedented. It never happened before, and it's happened this time because, as I say, the exec got burned by the first try with Paula Abdul and that producer. So we lucked out. So I called the lawyer and I said, listen, we got this deal. And he laughed at me. He said, Mike, you don't have that deal. I've never heard a deal like that for somebody who's unknown. $100,000 a year for publishing contract? No, that doesn't happen. It's more like 20 or 30. He said, Mike, you're new to this. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'll go find out what the real deal is. I'll come back and I will tell you what the real deal is. So I wait a day or two. He talks to the record company, or to the publishing company, and Dale, the executive there, he comes back and he goes, Mike, that's a fucking crazy deal. You're absolutely right. That's what they offered you. I go, I know, I told you that. I'm not stupid. I can hear it. I said, now, George, here's what I need you to do. I need you to go through this contract and make sure everything is right. All I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and just make sure we're protecting ourselves. He said, well, yeah, I can do that. I said, how much is that going to cost? He said, somewhere between $4,000 and $9,000. So I go back to my client and I tell him it's going to be $4,000 to $9,000. Now, this is a kid that now has a check for 50 grand to start things off. He's never had any money. He doesn't understand how this whole situation works. He doesn't even understand what the lawyer's going to do. So he says, cool, $4,000 to $9,000. So I give this guy the contract to go through. 2 days, he sends it back to me. He said, it's cool, sign that fucker. So we do, and we get everything going, and Jerry finally gets his $50,000 check, and I talked to my client. He says, well, find out how much he's going to charge us. So I went to the lawyer, George, and I said, how much is this going to be? He said, well, it'll be $9,000. I go, $9,000? You had it for fucking 2 days. This was a good deal in the first place. He said, I know. It was a good deal, but I made it the perfect deal. I go, George, you didn't do fuck all to this. How dare you come to me with $9,000 when you said it could be as low as $4,000? At that point in time, I didn't realize how much lawyers will fucking lie to you or try to mess with you. So I go back to my client, and I say he wants $9,000. Fuck no, we're not paying him $9,000, and he's irate about it. So I'm caught in the middle. I've got a lawyer that wants $9,000, and I've got a client that wants to pay $4,000. I'm thinking, what the fuck do I do here? And I realized quickly my responsibility is to my client, not to the lawyer. So I go back to the lawyer and I said, look, I'm not paying you $9,000 for that. And he gets mad at me. You know, the same old thing. You'll never work in this business. We'll fucking do this. I'll sue you. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do this. I go, fuck you, George. I don't care. The guy doesn't want to pay you that much. You only had it for 2 days. And we went back and forth like this for about 2 weeks doing that. So I'm thinking, how am I going to get this straightened out? And I realized the best way to get to this lawyer is fucking greed. So I call him up one day and I say, George, I talked to Jerry. We're just going to send you the $9,000. He goes, okay, well, I'm glad you saw it my way. And I said, the other thing I want to tell you, because of all the excitement around this publishing deal, I've got at least 3 companies coming to me wanting to sign Jerry to an artist deal, which is a much bigger deal than any publishing contract. And he says to me, well, that's great. That's great. We'll make some big money on that, and I'll take care of it for you. I said, well, no, George, that's the problem here. I'm going to pay you the $9,000, but now you're fired. He goes, what? I said, you're too expensive. I can't afford you. We've got some big record deals. I don't know what the fuck you're going to charge me, so you're fired. And he says, what do you mean fired? You need me to do this. I go, you lawyers are a dime a dozen. I can get somebody else to do what you did on the last deal and not charge me $9,000. So then he starts negotiating. He says, well, how about 8? I said, how about 5? He said, how about 7? I said, how about 5? He said, how about 6? I said, how about 5,500? And he says, okay. So we cut the deal. My guy's happy because it's 5,500, not $9,000. George is planning to make big money on the artist deals. So we get the deal signed, we get Jerry his money, and everything's going cool. And about 2 months later, George, the lawyer, calls me up and says, what's going on with those artist deals? I said, oh, George, there's no artist deals. I was just lying to you. And he was pissed because I played him. And he was angry and he was yelling at me, how dare you lie to me? I go, dude, you're a lawyer in the music business. All you do is lie every day. You're not mad that I lied to you. You're mad that some dumb white kid who doesn't know anything fucking beat you at your own game. And he got frustrated and he was mad and he was angry. So I fired him anyway. I figured we couldn't work with this guy any further. And we hired a different lawyer and everything went much better after that. So my point is, don't trust all lawyers. Make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing for you, because some of them will fuck you if you give them a chance.